This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather. Ho there, it's Jeff Connor Diamond welcoming you to another sports catastrophe on this date. And on this day, July the 12th, 1998, the World Cup finally ends. It was a good World Cup. The home country French team won the title, taking down Brazil 3-0. It's like, how can they crush Brazil? Like that. It just doesn't make sense. Anyway, the story of the 98 World Cup is huge. In 1992, France beat Morocco for the right to host the World Cup. It's almost always happening that Morocco ends up second place. France hosted the World Cup in 1938, which was won by the Italians. Anyway, it was huge and all that. In fact, it was the first World Cup to have 32 countries instead of 24. So it was always 24, and then they moved it to 32. Great idea. 8 groups of 4, top 2 make the round of 16 or the knockout stages. Simple enough. No third place shenanigans. So anyway, France knew what they were doing. Of course, the 98 French team are the last team to win the World Cup on home soil. 2002, Japan and Korea both missed out on the final. 2006, Germany got shocked in the semifinals by Italy. 2010, South Africa, we knew weren't going to make the finals. 2014, Brazil had a golden chance on home turf, but lost in the semis to Germany. 2018, Russia, they made a good run, but they lost in the quarters. And 2022 was Qatar. Yeah, right. We're going to make it. Anyway, so there would be 4 debutantes at this World Cup. Croatia, Jamaica, Japan, and South Africa. When would be the last time those countries would make it in? I think Jamaica made it to at least one other World Cup. But anyway, Croatia was built out of the separation of Yugoslavia. So Croatia, alongside many other countries, were split up, like Serbia. But Croatia made their debut. Japan, after the embarrassment of Doha in 94, missing the playoffs because of a stupid qualification loss, made it for the first time ever. But little did anyone know that Japan has been to every World Cup since 98. And South Africa as well. Okay. So anyway, there was a lot of qualifications and all that. Iran beat Australia in a playoff to make it in. Australia always seemed to lose those playoffs to get that one spot in. So Iran got in and all that. Chile, this was the first time since '82 that Chile got into the World Cup. They actually missed out on the 2 previous tournaments because of shenanigans by their goalkeeper during a match to decide a spot in the 1990 World Cup. True, though. So anyway, yeah, it was huge. The Czechs were actually ranked number 3 in the world, and yet didn't make it. Whereas Nigeria at number 74 did. So, yeah, this is the only time Jamaica has been to the World Cup. And the last time Austria, Bulgaria, Norway, Romania, and Scotland, yes, I will talk about Scotland, have qualified. So France was ready to go, and they knew what they had to do. In Group A, Brazil and Norway were the top 2 teams. Brazil won 2, but shockingly lost to Norway 2-1. Well, they kind of knew they were in. Anyhow, Norway takes second. And with that win, Norway snuck past Morocco to jump into second place and spot in the knockout stages. Scotland had one puny tie with Norway. They couldn't beat Morocco? Really? Scotland actually was hanging around with Brazil, but then Tommy Boyd had to have a terrible clearance that went past his own goalie, and Brazil won the game 2-1. Scotland would tie Norway and then lose to Morocco 3-0. That showed how bad Scotland really was. I mean, Morocco was a decent country, decent team, but Scotland losing 3-0. Of course, Scotland has always had these problems about making the knockout stages. They've had many chances to fail. Anyway, Italy and Chile won Group B. Group B was close. Chile had 3 ties. Austria had 2 ties. Cameroon had 2 ties. But yeah, Chile tied every match and snuck in ahead of Austria and Cameroon. That's bad. I thought Cameroon would make it. Italy 2-1. The only 2 times. Well, Italy beat Cameroon 3-0 and Austria 2-1. That meant that, well, those were the only wins. Everything else was a tie. France, the host country, got into Group C, which was weird because usually Group A had the host. But anyway, France was 3-0, crushing Denmark, Saudi Arabia, and South Africa. Denmark took second place by virtue of winning a key game against Saudi Arabia. South Africa only had 2 ties. Nigeria and Paraguay won Group D. Their spots in Group D. Spain surprisingly went out. Well, when you blow a chance, you're up 2-1 and your goalie makes a horrible mistake, making Nigeria do it. You know it. So Nigeria at 2-1 made it to the next round. Paraguay too. Group E. Holland and Mexico both were 1-0-2, but by goal differential, the Dutch won. Yeah, Mexico. Belgium could only manage 3 ties, and Korea could only get a tie. So yeah, so Belgium with the 3 ties. Yeah, Belgium and Holland, they're forever rivals, and they always have like 0-0 scores. Germany and Yugoslavia in Group F. Well done. Actually, Yugoslavia was not completely broken up. Croatia was out of Yugoslavia, but Yugoslavia was still around, I guess. Yeah, it wasn't Serbia yet. But Yugoslavia and Germany both 2-1. Iran and the United States were drawn in the same group. I don't know if that was on purpose or not. But yeah, the Americans were crappy. Only 1 goal, and that was McBride's 87th minute goal against Iran in the second group stage match, which saw a lot of people have a lot of tensions. Fortunately, though, it wasn't that bad. But you know, Germany on goal differential won the group. Group G, Romania and England went through. Romania had 2 wins and a draw. England lost to Romania. Yeah, England beat Tunisia. Well, Colombia and Tunisia missed. But England won 2-0 over Tunisia. Lost 2-1 to Romania. It was like, oh man, we have to beat up on Colombia. And thanks to David Beckham's free kick, they beat Colombia. Anyway, Argentina and Croatia won Group H. Group H actually had no ties. Argentina beat Croatia, Jamaica, and Japan. Jamaica did beat Japan for a sense of relief, in a sense, 2-1. Japan would be back in 2002. Alright, on to the group stages. On to the knockout stages, excuse me. Round of 16, Italy beat Germany 1-0, only 1-0. Surprised they couldn't crush Norway in the fine powder. Brazil beat their South American rivals Chile 4-1. France needed a golden goal by Laurent Blanc to take down Paraguay. Of course, at that time, in the late 90s, if you score a goal in extra time, that's the game over. You don't have a chance to come back. Denmark crushed Nigeria 4-1. Germany narrowly beat Mexico 2-1. They were down 1-0 for a while. Holland beat Yugoslavia 2-1. Edgar Davids scored in added time. Croatia beat Romania 1-0 on a Damon Suker penalty. And the final round of 16 match was Argentina-England. That game was big. England and Argentina were going toe-to-toe. In the first half, 4 goals were scored. By Studa and Zanetti for Argentina. England had Shearer and Owen scored. Unfortunately, the second half would be the memorable part when David Beckham petulantly lifted his leg at Diego Simeone, causing him to fall over, and then the referee decided to give him a red card. Kim Nielsen, the guy that looked like Cujo, or Curtis Joseph. Unfortunately, though, that was the end of it, and they couldn't get Beckham. Well, Beckham got red carded, meaning he was out. So it went to penalties. England actually had a chance. So Campbell thought he won the game. But unfortunately, they called it for a foul. Italy and France tied. France, well, 0-0. They had to go to penalties, and France won the penalty shootout 4-3. Di Baggio made a gigantic miss. France were in the semifinals. Yeah, England's GOAT in the final. Well, Paul Ince and David Batty missed. But anyway, yeah. Brazil beat Denmark 3-2 in regulation. Denmark hung with Brazil, but couldn't do it. Holland beat Argentina 2-1. Those teams like to always face each other. As Clayford and Bergkamp scored key goals. And, well, of course, we all know, of course, that's the game when Dennis Bergkamp scored that famous goal that the Dutch announcer went nuts. Dennis Bergkamp! Dennis Bergkamp! Dennis Bergkamp! Frank de Boer to the Brazil! Dennis Bergkamp! Can't say it. Croatia then shocked everyone by taking down Germany 3-0. Beating Germany was hard enough, but, like, to win by 3 goals. In the semifinals, Brazil and Holland would face each other off. Ronaldo, not Cristiano Ronaldo, but Ronaldo scored to make it 1-0. And then Patrick Kluivert tied it in the 87th minute. They went to penalties. Brazil went 4-4. Ronaldo, Rivaldo, Emerson, and Dunga scored. Holland had the first 2. De Boer and Bergkamp did score, but Ronald de Boer and Cocu missed their penalties. France beat Croatia 2-1 as Lilian Thuram scored a pair of goals. What a day for him. Unfortunately for France, that semi-final win would come with a bittersweet feeling as Laurent Blanc got penalized for a harmless foul on a Croatian player, got red carded, which meant he was ineligible for the final. A lot of people thought that was piss poor. Anyway, Croatia beat Holland for 3rd place. Shocking a lot of people. It was the first time Croatia got to the World Cup, and they got 3rd place. Not half bad. Davin Suker clinched the Golden Boot for top goal scorer with his 6th goal, I think. But man, can you believe they beat the Dutch? Croatia were the fairy tale story. Anyway, it's time for the final. France and Brazil would take on each other. Of course, France would have the big problem with no Laurent Blanc. But still, Zinedine Zidane showed what he could do. Zidane actually got a multiple game suspension after his antics against Saudi Arabia in the group stage, but Zidane proved to be in everyone's good books with a pair of goals. He did it. He scored 2 goals, and then Emmanuel Petit scored a key goal to make it 3-0. It was just unbelievable how Brazil got their butts handed to them. They couldn't even score 1 freaking goal. What's worse is that for Brazil, like Ronaldo actually had what they called an epileptic fit the night before the game, and practically he was ruled out for the final. I mean, who can blame him? Unfortunately, Ronaldo was in the lineup. Brazil put him in the lineup 45 minutes before kickoff. Now, of course, the rumors were circulating that Nike had something to do with this because, you know, they wanted Ronaldo out on the field. But Ronaldo, it just wasn't meant to be. It was just terrible. And all that. And, well, that was huge. Yeah, Davin Suker scored 6 goals. He would have been tied with Batistuta of Argentina and Italy's Christian Fiori. But Suker, I think he would have won on assists. But anyway, yeah, it was huge. There were 6 own goals in this tournament, one of the highest numbers ever. Ronaldo won for MVP, despite the fact he was terrible in the final. Davin Suker won the Golden Boot for goal scorer. The goalie award went to Fabien Barthez of France, go figure. England won the Fair Play trophy, even though that Beckham did some stupidity. But yeah, it was amazing. I mean, the French proved that they could hang with everybody, host a good World Cup, and be, you know, superstars. And Croatia took 3rd place. Like, out of all countries, it was Croatia who took 3rd place, which wasn't half bad. I mean, they got some money. They got money. It was Croatia's best performance until 2018 when they took 2nd to France. But still, it was great. First tournament as an independent country. And they took 3rd place. Took down the Dutch in the 3rd place game. And of course, we all know about Ronaldo's epileptic fit. Did Brazil do the right thing? No. But I think France would have won anyway. Come on, you gotta put health over national pride. But, of course, there is a little bit of a downfall, if you will. As France in 2002, when they were defending the World Cup, crashed out. Not only did they not get to the knockout stages, they didn't even score a freaking goal, which is unbelievable. Of course, that Papa Diop goal for Senegal was huge. France could have bounced back with a win or two, but they didn't. And that actually started one of the most common occurrences is that the World Cup champion, the former World Cup champs can't get out of the group stage the next year. France broke that fury in 2022. Well, of course, it's France. What do you expect? And France got to the final against Argentina, but still, it was just hard-pressed. And vive la France. Of course, they were the 2018 champions, too, so it was the first of 2 trophies for the French. Anyway, I'm Jeff. I'm going to do